Give me some comments up there if you would. If you happen to see me or hear me, the way you can see me on the screen. Really, this is my mark. I'm supposed to stand right here. If you are watching me live, music is gone. Not sure why it came on, but it sounded really good for a second. Hey folks, looks like we have about 15 people watching me live. My name is Mike C. Clinter. We are doing a sneak peek of the LiveFire live stream studio. Check this out. I'm going to be talking to you briefly about some mistakes in structure, but this is mainly just a test because next week on Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. I will be live, and I hope you're able to join me. So if you haven't done it, if you were on the last test, please mark your calendars. It's on Facebook. It's on the events area, on the IDPA page, the Shooting Performance page, and the American Warrior Society page. And by the way, if you're watching IDPA is on or not, I'll start to see the comments. And I don't see any comments. Do me a favor and post a comment. I can't read them on the screen. If you could see the studio that I'm in, you would be completely blown away. From the lights to the background to the ability to show you different things on the main screen over here. It's going to be fantastic. But bear with us as we learn the process of live streaming. Do me a favor, click the share button, click the like button, and let people know that we're doing a quick live stream because I am going to teach something. I'm going to talk about structure today. Also, as always, with all live streams, we're always talking about safety. So all safety rules apply. Please make sure you're willing to abide by all safety rules. I have a CERT demonstration tool. CERT stands for Shot Indicating Resetting Trigger. By Next Level Training, they are the sponsor of today's live stream, by the way. Mr. Mike Hughes is the owner of Next Level Training that makes this incredible device, which allows me to talk about grip and stance and position and structure, as well as manipulate the trigger and pull the trigger. Looks like we have 13 people watching live right now, probably on maybe the IDPA or my Shooting Performance page. I see a comment. Finally, Steve Miller. Good morning, Steve. How are you? Richard Sleba, hello, how are you? Good to see you as well, folks. All right, I know it's not our normal live stream time, but we wanted to test this out. Do me a favor and tell me how you see the video, if it's okay, and tell me about the audio. The last time we did a live stream, we had a little bit of an issue with the audio. The audio is cutting in and out. So if you hear something or see something that sounds kind of odd, please let us know in the comments as well. And don't forget, mark your calendar. Next Tuesday morning, I'll be live in the studio here. We'll be talking about defensive handgun as well. So I want to really quickly talk to you about the 5 most common mistakes I see in the structure, specifically the handgun shooting structure, right? And we're going to go through these in reverse order. I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Of course, the 1 is going to be the most common thing I see. So here we go. In structure, and by the way, if you're talking about structure, when I refer to the word structure, I'm talking about your process of building pressure on the handgun to control recoil, right? A lot of folks say stance and they say grip. I talk about it as structure because if you think about this, you know, the foundation of a house is its structure. The foundation of shooting a handgun fast and accurately is its structure. And here's a question for you. Enter this in the comment. If you don't have the proper structure, can you be fast? Yes? No? Type it in your comments. If you don't have the proper structure, can you be fast? And the answer, if you haven't typed in the comment box, is yes. If you don't have the proper structure, can you be accurate? Yes. Be fast and accurate? You can't. You cannot do this. So let's talk about the structure in itself. Number 5 on the top mistakes I see in structure is a failure to have a lower body position that's conducive to moving the gun fast or controlling recoil. So very narrow feet. So for example, if your feet are too close together, and my general rule for my students is your feet are inside of your shoulders, you're probably too narrow. If you look at top shooters, like I just took a class with Travis Tomasi. If you haven't taken one of Travis's classes, by the way, he's fantastic. If your structure, your feet are inside your shoulders, you're too narrow. So your feet should be wide and aggressive. And me personally, I have, generally speaking, my toes pointed forward, but my feet, if I look outside my shoulders, are wider than my shoulders. Number 5, that's number 5 on the list, failure to have the feet in the proper position. Now, some of you may say, well, Mike, where should the feet be? Should for example, the strong side foot always be behind the support side foot? No, it depends on what you're doing. So the foot position is going to be based on what you're doing or you're about to do. For example, if I came into position, I'm shooting around cover to the right, my right foot may be forward. If I came into position in a normal stance, my left foot is probably going to be forward. So think about your foot position and what you're doing with your feet. And by the way, I see a bunch of people jumping on. Steve Miller, how are you again? John in Yukon, coin number 1919. By the way, if you're a coin member, throw up your coin number in the comments box. Donald, good morning, Donald. I guess it's not morning, it's afternoon. I'm used to my live streams that are in the morning. Number 1499, looking good. John says the sound is cutting out a little bit. Well, bear with us. We're trying to figure out this lav mic thing. Eventually, I'm going to have shotgun mics over the top of me so I won't have to be laved up at all, okay? So if you see anything else or want to notify us of anything else, please let us know. So number 5 on the list was our foot position. Number 4 in terms of a structural violation is a failure to pay attention to the upper body angle. So I want you to look at my upper body. When I'm in my normal shooting stance, my upper body is in a position where my shoulders are ahead of my hips. Some instructors will say, get your nose over your toes, and I'm okay with that. The problem with that is if I simply take my nose and get it over my toes and I don't count, I'm going to be off balance forward, right? So I would tell you to get your upper body structure behind the gun. And if you looked at my shoulders compared to my hips, I have an angle that's slightly forward. Think about this for a second. Every time the gun recoils, it pushes directly to the rear on your shoulders. So if your shoulders are too upright, then the recoil has a mechanical advantage against you. You don't have a mechanical advantage against the recoil. So that's number 4, having an upper body structure or angle that is not proper. This would not be proper. I would like to see an aggressive forward angle. Here's a little secret for you, by the way. The faster you shoot, the more angle has to increase. Because you think about this, during recoil, the speed that the recoil is hitting your body changes the mechanics of what you're doing. So if I'm shooting faster, I'm going to increase the angle. That's number 4. Number 3, in terms of the structural mistakes I see with a handgun, is a failure to have the strong hand high on the handgun, to literally take it and attack the gun from the rear during the draw process, for example, and having the hand in a position where I don't feel pressure between the middle knuckle and the trigger guard or the web in my hand, right, and the tang of the firearm. So number 3 on the list would be getting the strong hand nice and high on the handgun. And I'll give you a little tip. When you're gripping your handgun, you have to grip with the supporting fingers and then pull. Think about this and remember this statement. Grip, then pull. Do not grip and pull. So what I mean by that is grip with the supporting fingers, and I've taken my hand off the gun just so you can see this, and then pull the trigger. Do not grip and pull because then you'll move the gun, okay? So that's number 3 on the list. Number 2 on the list is not getting the support hand into the proper spot. And oftentimes what I see with the support hand is the hands are somewhat married together, right? But the left hand ends up slightly low. The left hand low position reduces my ability to have as much friction and pressure on the gun as possible. When we're talking about structure, specifically the contact of your hands with the handgun, we always talk about, where your hands are on the handgun and the pressure. So placement and pressure, placement and pressure. When you're doing your LiveFire drills, constantly assess the placement of your hands and the pressure you're putting on the handgun. Okay, so that number 2 on the list is not getting the support hand nice and high on the handgun grip. And I want you to pay attention to my hands for a second. This is low. This is about right. So what I look for is the two hands fitting together like pieces of a puzzle, which gives me the ability to apply the pressure on the rear back strap of the handgun. Remember, placement and pressure, where you're putting pressure on the handgun is critical if you want to shoot fast and accurately. And number one on the list that people violate in terms of their structure, number one, probably the most important, is a failure to grip the gun hard. So here's a little secret for you. Next time you're doing live fire drills on the range, grip your handgun harder than you think you need to. Literally, bear down on it, grip it hard, fire a few shots where you think you're gripping hard, and then grip hard. Travis Tomasi, actually, great instructor, just took a class, uses a phrase in his class, and you may shoot a drill and you're shooting a 2-shot drill or a 5-shot drill or whatever else, and then Travis will say, all right, give me 2 more percent, give me 1 more percent, give me 3 more percent, or whatever the number is. But the point is, you think you're doing that thing great, like gripping the handgun hard, give me 2 more percent. Shoot a couple shots, okay, it's looking great, give me 2 more percent. So the next time you're shooting, in your mind, say, okay, percent. Grip it 2% harder, grip it 2% harder, or whatever, 5%. You pick a number, it doesn't matter. So that's number one on the list in terms of a violation of structure in terms of shooting a handgun, right? Not gripping the gun hard enough. So if the hands are in the right spot, grip the gun really hard, right? So number 5 was your feet, right? Number 4 was your upper body. Number 3, strong hand high on the handgun. Number 2, get the support hand in the proper place on the handgun to apply pressure. And number 1, grip the gun hard, folks. All right, there you go. Sneak peek of our studio here, the LiveFire live stream studio, and a little bit of content along the way. Hopefully you learned a couple things. Don't forget, we'll be live next Tuesday, which is a different time frame than our normal Wednesday lives. We're going to give that a go for a while and then see how it is. I see 32 live on. That is absolutely fantastic. What do we have as far as questions? I can't see all of the comments like I normally would, scroll back and forth. So if you have a question, please stick it back up there. Hey, Razmik, how are you, sir? From California. Good to see you again. Frank Dumovic. Is that right, Frank? I mispronounce names all the time. First time observer. Well, welcome to the live stream, man. I appreciate that. Former TAC instructor. Nice to have you on the live stream. Hello, Chris Edmondson, nice to see you as well. And Donald, you're welcome. Thanks for jumping on. So, all right. And I love, if you don't know what's going on, just kind of a sneak verbal of what's actually happening in the studio. Of course, you see me on the cameras. I've got a primary camera. We've got a slider camera. And I've got a close-in camera to my right. So my control booth technicians, the expert in this big control booth, can actually switch from one camera to the other camera. We've got lighting all over the place. They have the ability to pipe sound in. As you probably see on your screen, they have the ability to pop a QR code up there. And by the way, if you haven't scanned the QR code and you're not a LiveFire user, you should be. LiveFire invested a ton of money in this studio where I get to go live now until you don't like me anymore or we bring other guests on. But check it out, because then you'll be able to check out my weekly main drills, PA mastery program. It's all in the LiveFire app that you can utilize. So check that out as well. Scan. And if you get on LiveFire, or if you're on LiveFire, do me a favor, follow me, and then send me a message. Say, hey, Mike, I just followed you, and I will follow you back, right? So it's all about improving, and you're going to love the social feed. The social feed is unique in that it allows folks to talk about the training and the drilling they're doing, and there's no junk and trolls. It's pretty darn impressive, folks. All right, that's all I have. Hey, did I just see Will Parker on? Will Parker's on. Hey, Mr. Wade Peterson from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Nice to see you as well. Chris Edmondson, hello again. Man, I love all these comments. We have 27 folks live on. All right, next Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m., I'm going to talk defensive handgun. We're going to be talking gear. We're going to be talking about handgun selection using the REAP test. We're going to be talking about optics and, of course, entertaining all of your questions. And then later on the following week, we're going to be talking about grip trigger sights, where I'm going to talk about the entire spectrum of the handgun shooting material out there. All right. Frank, I am in the LiveFire live stream studio. This, you can probably tell from the actual screen, but this is like a Fox News studio. It's pretty darn impressive. We will repost some short clips of this video later on. So do me a favor, Give us a follow on Instagram. If you're not following me, give me a follow on Instagram, and you'll see some posts there as well. So that's all I have, folks. I'm going to jump off here. Thanks for jumping on and spending some time with me. I think we had upwards of 33 live viewers on. I know it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday, not my normal live stream time, but you got the notification. That's all I have. Stay safe, and until then, train hard.